getting her ready for her 2-week cross-country journey. All right, and the adventure continues. Day 2. Hitting the road, leaving Russellville, Arkansas, heading to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And it won't come easy, but I know it's worth the fight. And I will run across the rivers, anywhere with you. I won't give up, I'll take my chances, and I will follow you through the night. I'll follow you. I make the same mistakes, forget how much it takes. No reasons left behind. One day I'll make you mine, and it won't come easy, but I know it's worth the fight, and I know you can.
So our first true camping stop on this trip was in Albuquerque at this high desert RV park. It was a nice park. Personally, we like state parks just because you get more space and you're not just right on top of each other. But this was located right off the interstate, so it was very convenient. It was an easy stop for us. The bathhouse was really nice. What I liked about this place is they had these metal sculptures all throughout the campground. I would say there were probably 25 to 30 of them. And as you can see here, I mean, they were extremely detailed. I don't know if they know someone or maybe the people that own the RV park do this kind of metal work. I'm not really sure, but I know that if they had to pay for this stuff, it cost an absolute fortune because they were so intricate and everything was so good. I mean, the detail was just absolutely crazy. It wasn't real expensive here to stay. The only complaint really that I had about this place, and we were in a pop-up camper, so that of course does make a difference. The interstate was right there. So we did hear the traffic all night long. It made it pretty difficult for me to sleep, which I'm a light sleeper. And I even had a fan in the camper. It's like a high vortex fan, so it makes plenty of noise, but you still could hear the interstate all night long. So if you do, if you're going through the area and you're considering staying there, it's a very clean park. It's neat to walk around and look at all these, the artwork here, but just keep in mind, especially in a pop-up camper, the sound from the interstate.
Rendering of stubbornness, and it just cuts us deeper through. The longer I'm away from you, yeah, we fight good, we make love better if we both know we'll be together forever. I can be like the tree in the wind, same old roots, but I can bend, learning to understand and sway together. Nothing worth having comes easy, baby. Nothing worth having comes easy, baby. Nothing worth having comes easy, baby. Yeah, we fight good.
So with Albuquerque being our first stop, it was more or less just a kind of stay to get some rest to continue traveling to our first real destination. So we only had one full day here. So we decided to start the day off. We took our bikes, loaded them up, and we hit a bike trail that they have. We went along the river, and it was really scenic. It was a neat little experience. There were little places to pull off, and it was a paved bike path, but they did have little side trails that were gravel. Some of them were more sandy than gravel, but you could, veer off of those, kind of go through the forest, go along the water. So it was a really neat experience. And the trail, I can't remember how many miles it was now. I want to say it was like 12 or 14 miles. But there are several parking areas and places that you could get on the trail or get off the trail. And it ended in like a little downtown area, but we didn't go that far. We went to the bridge right before that because we actually had plans after the fact. And so we didn't want to, get in the middle of that and end up being late for our other plans. But this is definitely something, we love to take our bikes out. We've got e-bikes, so we love to take those out when we go visit new places and just kind of check out the scenery. And this is one of those little side trails that kind of winds around. It was a really neat experience. And you could also see some of the bigger, fancier homes that were on the waterway, their backyards and back areas. Some beautiful, beautiful and huge homes. So that was just a really neat little thing to do. It's free. It's just something to help pass the time and kind of get to see a little bit of the scenery in the local area.
As we get closer to home.
So after the bike rides, we had tickets to the Albuquerque Biopark. And this place, it was so cool. There was an aquarium, a zoo, and a botanical garden. And they were all pretty close to each other. The aquarium and the botanical gardens were right there together. But what was so neat about it is it was $27 for a non-state resident for all three. And to me, it was absolutely worth the $27. The aquarium wasn't huge, but it was very nice. What they did have was really neat. The botanical gardens, they were very pretty. The time that we were there, a lot of the stuff was in bloom. We kind of got there before, the summer heat kicked in, and a lot of the stuff was getting kind of, dries up, or, the bloom period's already over with. But we really enjoyed this place, and we actually, we rode our bikes from the botanical gardens and aquarium over to the zoo. I want to say it was like a mile or a mile and a half between the two properties. The zoo was really good too. It was just, I think it was such a great value for the price to get to take in all three. And I'm pretty sure when I got the tickets, you do have to reserve like a timed entry, but they give you like an hour. So you do like between 10 to 11 or, something like that. So you have a little bit of flexibility there. Nothing was really busy, honestly, but, this was in April. Schools aren't out yet. I'm assuming all the spring breaks were over with. So there wasn't a whole lot of people at any of the things that we went to, which for me just makes it that much more enjoyable, because you're not, running into people, tripping over somebody or trying to scuffle around people. But I would highly recommend this if this is your kind of, thing to do. For the price, I don't think that you can beat it. So the last stop for the day was the zoo. And I have to say, this is probably my favorite zoo experience that I've had. Now, not to say I haven't been to zoos that I would consider were better, but this one, I think it was a combination of it was not very busy, so there weren't very many people, and it was not very hot that day. So, the animals were actually out. They were interacting with one another, doing their thing. And I feel like a lot of times, for me personally, when I've been to zoos, it's either so busy, and everybody's piled around each of the exhibits to where you can't hardly see the animals if they are moving around, or because of the heat, they're laying down or they're hidden somewhere over in some shade. So this was really neat to actually get to see pretty much every animal in every exhibit was out doing things. Right here, we had just missed the main feeding, but as you can see, they were kind of going around getting some of the scraps, which it made the experience that much better for me, because we did actually get to see, pretty much every animal moving around, interacting. There weren't hardly any people there. And like I said, for $27 to get to see all three of the parks, I really just don't think you can beat it, because we've got a pretty good zoo that's about an hour and 15, hour and a half away from us. I've not been in a couple of years, but I know it costs quite a bit more than that. However, it is a bigger zoo, but still for $27. And it was just so cute seeing the animals, interacting with each other, just doing their thing. It was a great stop, because we had drove for 2 days to get to where we were at. So this made for a really good day to just be out of the vehicle, walking around, moving, just kind of recharging a little bit before we packed everything up and moved on to the next stop, which was going to be right outside of Sedona. And so just to let you guys know, this was a 2-week cross-country trip that we went on. This is the first part of it, so I will have more videos coming up. We went to Sedona, we went to Utah, outside of Vegas, we went to Zion National Park. So I'm going to have quite a few videos coming up, but I thought I would just break them up just so it's not such long videos. A 30, 40, 50-minute video. So this was just part 1 of it. I just wanted to kind of share the experience. The penguins here, love those. Anytime I've been to a zoo that has the penguins, it's usually so busy you can't get up close. This one, we got to stand right there. There was, nobody there. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.